In this video, I'm showing students how to use Eclipse for the first time on macOS. So the first thing you want to do is you want to set up a folder somewhere on your computer for your coursework. So under Documents, I've got two folders called Src 124 and CMPE 212. So these are the two courses that I teach this term that use Java. Whatever course you're in, make one of these two folders. So for example, I'm going to go into Src 124. In my Src 124 folder, I want to make a folder called Workspace. So the Workspace folder is the folder where Eclipse wants to store its project files and configuration files and things like that. If you've installed Eclipse in the default location in your home directory, right? So go home, go to, there should be a directory called Eclipse. So if we open that, you'll see that there's a folder called Java 202112 and then the Eclipse program. So you can run the program by double clicking on that icon. When you start up Eclipse for the first time, it's going to ask you for a workspace directory. It'll probably be something like users, your username, and then Eclipse workspace. You don't want to use that for your regular workspace. Instead, choose the directory that we just created. So under my documents, under Src 124, I'm going to choose the workspace folder, and then we'll launch. If you want to, you can click that button there so that it always opens up that workspace without asking you. You can switch workspaces from within Eclipse. The first time you run Eclipse, you'll get the welcome screen. If you want to, you can go through some of these things. I'm not going to go through them right now. Oops, sorry. So I'm going to close the welcome screen. And this is the Eclipse IDE. So on Mac, your menus are at the top, right? Over here is something called the Package Explorer that shows you what projects you have in your workspace. Over here is what's called the outline view. That gives you a high-level view of the class that you're editing in the editor here. And then down here, you've got a bunch of other windows that appear depending on what you're trying or what you've done most recently in the IDE. So we want to create a Java project. The first time you run Eclipse, the option will be here. If you've run Eclipse before and already created a project and you'd like to make a new project, just go to the File menu, choose New, and then Java Project. Alternatively, no, I can't do that from here. So I'll show you an alternative way to do that later on. So just create a new Java project. It'll ask you for a name. You have lots of choices here. You could create a project for the course, you could create a project just for the lab, or you can create projects for your individual assignments. Here, I'm going to make a new project just for this lab. So I'm going to call it lab, and then you want to avoid spaces in the name, right? So call it lab 1, or 01, underscore 1, underscore 01, it doesn't matter, right? But as a rule of thumb, you should generally avoid spaces in the name. You'll see there's lots of options that you can choose from. In particular, you can choose which version of Java that your code will run in. So that's the, it's set to Java 17. So that's whatever JDK that you set when you installed Eclipse. Normally, at this point, you can just click Next. So on the next screen, these are the settings that you would change if you need to for building or compiling and running your program. Normally, in this course, you don't have to do anything here normally, so we can just click Finish. Now this is somewhat important. When you get this dialog window asking you for module info, you should probably click Don't Create. Modules are one mechanism that Java has for partitioning your code into what are called modules in Java. They're great for organizing your code if you have a very large software project. For smaller software projects, they're not really worth the effort. So click Don't Create. And over here now in Package Explorer, you'll see that the Lab 1 project has been created. If you click the little arrow, you can see that Lab 1 consists of, well, it's configured for Java 17, and it has a folder called Src. If you go to Explorer, and we go to our course folder, our workspace, right, you'll see that there's a folder called Lab 1. So that corresponds to the project Lab 1. Inside that folder, you'll see that there's two other folders, one called bin and one called Src. Right? So Src is the folder in which your Java source code files will be created. So we'll go into the Src folder for now. All right, now back here, we want to create a Java program. Before I do that, though, I want to create what's called a package. So packages are another mechanism that Java has for partitioning your code. I want to create a Lab 1 package. So right-click with Src selected and click New Package. Or with Src selected, go up to File, New Package. And give it a package name. Now in Java, package names begin with a lowercase letter. They're allowed to contain the underscore and numbers. And that's it, right? So normally, so for this one, I'm just going to create a package called Lab1 and press finish. And now you'll see that there's a Java package called Lab1 that's been created. Again, if you go to Explorer, you'll see that in the source, in the Src folder, there's now a folder called Lab1, right? So the directory structure that you get for how do I here like this? Okay. So the directory structure that you get, or that's produced when using Eclipse, matches your project and then package structure, right? So there's a Lab1 folder for the Lab1 project. Inside the Lab1 folder, there's a source folder. Inside the source folder, there's a Lab1 folder that corresponds to the Lab1 package. Okay, so in Lab1, let's make the Hello World program. So with Lab1 selected, click New and then class. Alternatively, with Lab1 selected, do File, New, Class. And here's where here is the file creation, the class creation dialog. So the first thing we need to do is name the class. Now remember, in Java, classes begin with a capital letter, and their names are in upper camel case. So let's make Hello World. So let's big H, E-L-L-O, capital W. You just leave these for now. We'll learn about what the modifiers do later on. We'll learn about interfaces later on, and we'll learn about superclasses later on. We'd like to be able to run this program. So we want to select this button here. So Eclipse will insert a main method for us. We can click Finish. And you can see over here that the file hello-world.java has been created for us. Right now the editor opens, and Eclipse has filled in the contents of Hello World for us. Right, we've got our main method. It's got a comment in it that says it was auto-generated. Right, it made the class for us. Right, so it inserted the class declaration for us, and it inserted the correct package declaration for us. Right, over here now in the outline view, you can see the high-level overview of our Lab1 project. Right, you can see that it has a package called Lab1. Right, it's got a class called Hello World. Notice when I click Hello World, it automatically jumps to the location in the editor, and has a method called main. Right. So if you had other methods or features of the class, they would all appear here in the outline view. So you can click in the outline view to quickly move to the location in the editor where that item is. Now, if we go over to our File Explorer again, you can see that in the Lab1 folder, there's now a Hello World Java file, right? And that's the contents of the file, right? So you can see that every Java file is just a plain text file. Okay, so we now want to edit this file. So I'm going to remove this content and the blank line below it. So I'm just going to delete that. Notice that as soon as I edit the file, up here in the tab with the file name beside it, an asterisk appears. So the asterisk indicates that the file has been edited and not yet saved. You have to remember to save your file before you submit it for your assignment or lab work, right? Otherwise, you end up submitting whatever happened to be there before you edited the file. For hello world, we just want to print out the string hello world. So remember, in Java, the way you do that is with the system dot. Now you want out. So notice that the IDE tries to suggest possible completions for you, right? Anything with the green circle, that's a method associated with the class system, right? So we don't want any of these. We actually want to get to the object called out, right? You can either type out, you can select it from here and double click, it'll automatically fill it in, right? If I type the period again, Eclipse will then again suggest a bunch of auto completions, right? So you can scroll through and you can see all of the methods and other features that you can access using the name out followed by a period, right? Again, you can double click here or you can just continue typing. So I'm going to continue typing, right? Notice that when I type in a opening bracket, Eclipse automatically inserts the closing bracket for you. When I type in a opening double quote, Eclipse automatically inserts in the closing double quote for you. So I want to print out the string hello world. So H-E-L-L-O, comma, space W-O-R-L-D with an exclamation mark, right? Semicolon at the end to end the println statement. And now save. So there's lots of ways to save. You can use the little disk button here. You can go File, Save, right? On Mac, you can use Command S as well, right? Which is what I'm going to do right now, right? And now notice that the asterisk has disappeared. So this indicates that the file has in fact been saved. If we go back to here, right, in our Explorer window, right, we can see the content of Hello World have indeed changed. Okay, to run the program, now a Java program, Java is a compiled language, so you normally have to compile the program first. But because this is an integrated development environment, the Eclipse will take care of the compilation for you. So it will compile whatever it thinks needs to be compiled before running your program. So if you click the little green run button up here, it will automatically compile and run your program. Alternatively, you can use the run menu. So run and just click run. Either one works. And you see down here when it finishes compiling and runs the program, it opens a console for you automatically down here. Depending on how your screen is configured, the console might appear somewhere else. But for me, it's opened up down here, and you can see that the string hello world has been printed. And so that's creating your first program using Eclipse. I guess I should show you, if you want to create a new project over here, once you've created a project, you can always create a new project by right-clicking in the Package Explorer and then doing New Java Project. Right. Similarly, I can add new classes to the package, right, by right-clicking and do New and Class. Right. I can add new packages to the Src folder by doing New Package, and so on and so forth. Right. And so we'll see how to do these sorts of things in subsequent labs. To close Eclipse, again, you can hit the red button, you can use the Eclipse menu and do Quit Eclipse, or you can use Command Q. All right, that's the end of this video.